Next question from Andrew M. asks, in your playing, what drum techniques have you found to be necessary to spend time on?
The most time-consuming technique I ever had to work on was push-pull. Push-pull technique with the hands. There's a full course on it, but let me not be rude. I'll grab a stick and show you.
Is there a stick in the studio?
Here we go. All right, so I got a drumstick. So push-pull is effectively two motions. It's the push, which is like you roll the stick somewhat inwards, like towards your... it rolls in towards the center of your body. So it would roll this way in your right hand or this way in your left hand. Sorry for audio listeners, that doesn't make any sense. But it rolls as you extend it. So you drop your fingers down and you let the stick come to sort of towards the end of your pointer finger and your thumb. So that's the push, like that. And once you get good at the push, you'll realize that you can create some rebound there. So you push and the stick actually bounces, boink, bounces up back into like an upright position. And then the pull is literally just pulling back down with your fingers. So it's like a two-part technique. And I've never met anyone that had any natural ability to do this. Everyone who I've ever showed this to, all of my private students from back in the day, all my friends, everyone had the same reaction, which is like, what in the hell are you doing? Like, how does this work, right? It's not natural to anyone. Yeah. But once you learn push-pull, it's interesting because it doesn't... It's not a technique that you blatantly choose to play. It almost like infiltrates all of your other hand techniques, and it just becomes like kind of sort of an unconscious option. So you'll catch yourself kind of doing it all the time, but it's pretty rare that you would just choose to play something that way. There are definitely exceptions. I've seen J.P. Bouvet do high tempo 16th note ride grooves. So like, and you can see that he very intentionally goes into push-pull. So push-pull, 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 push-pull. He goes into that technique because he spent enough time doing it where using exclusively that technique gives him a certain sound, an ability to play at a certain speed. So you can use it intentionally, but for me, it's always like, it's unconscious. Like once I learned how to do it, it just kind of shows up in different parts of my playing, really without me ever choosing to use it again. But that's, what was the question? Like, what's the hardest or the most valuable?
What drum techniques have you found to be necessary to spend your time on? Assuming that there are some that are unnecessary or lower priority.
Traditional grip would be one. That's an elective. You don't have to do that at all, right? I mean, yeah, you really.
Class.
Well, I suck at it. I never practiced it at all. You don't have to do it. So there's some that go in that category of
what
like.
What are other unnecessary techniques?
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think molar ends up being something that people do naturally.
Yeah,
like
I did molar a lot.
If you never heard that word, the phrase, or never understood the concept of a wave, you can play long enough and your body will just do that.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost like, I don't know, like there are definitely like techniques for running and jogging, but if you never knew what those were and you never practiced them, you'll get pretty close if you just run and jog a lot, right? Yeah. Like it's kind of like that. Some stuff you will figure out naturally by putting in the time, though that's a little dangerous because you can develop really bad habits and then a teacher's got to fix that for you. But I think I would say that the highest like ROI on technique that you're going to get, return on investment, would probably be push-pull. At least for me, that's been the case. Like having put in a ton of time into that and being very intentional. Like I cannot play this at all. Let me sit down with a pad and just push, pull, push, pull. Like weeks and weeks and weeks of that until I could even play a sloppy double stroke roll, right? That ended up paying off huge dividends for me in the long run. So for me, the highest effort and the highest reward technique is definitely worth your time is push-pull for sure. I think that's, I don't know how I can give any other answer. For me, that was it was the hardest and the most effective.
Yeah, and completely necessary. Would help, push those boundaries. So cool.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Orlando Drummer Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for more content like this, you are formally invited to come join me on orlandodrummer.com. It's my online drum school. It's very much in the style of Netflix for drum lessons. There you'll find 160 hours of lesson content. That's like 50 drum DVDs. It's a lot. You'll also find the world's largest collection of drumless play-alongs. Trust me, you'll find something you love, and we would love to have you on board. orlandodrummer.com. Link is in the description.